You're watching Rules of the Game with Mark Cisco, brought to you by these fine sponsors.
Grand Lake Roofing, Fowler's TV, Family Audiology Associates, American Legion Post 323, Varsity Lanes, Outdoors Equipment Rental, Spring Street Storage, Mr. Bank, Plus One Professionals, Albert Sporting Goods.
You were renovating St. Mary's Foundry, Larry Shop Auto Sales, Tap House at the Square, TSC, Cody Plumbing and Heating, Roots Pub, Dr. Mike Company, Guaneri's Pizzeria, EFW Post 9289, and Miller Funeral Home.
Hello and welcome to Rules of the Game with Mark Cisco. I'm your host, Zach Farrell. Each and every week we bring you local clips from the football game on Friday night with Mark Cisco, former, we say current referee,
I still am
right?
licensed, yes. I still am licensed, so, yep.
So thanks for coming, Mark, as every week.
It's always a pleasure to be here, Zach.
And you were able to sit in the stands this week, and so
I was in attendance at the game. Yes, I was.
We're going to jump into, we got 12 clips, a lot of interesting things from the game. Not a ton of penalties, but some interesting things that we can talk about.
Yeah, the game was pretty clean from all aspects. Yep.
St. Mary's is on quite the winning streak, and we're hoping that they're going to win this Friday night as well against Bath and hopefully get a home playoff game, which will be another game here at home at Grand Lake Health Systems Field.
Always fun to play at home.
We're going to jump before we jump into the clips, I want to talk about have there been any bulletins or emphasis through the state?
This last week there was a couple of plays sent out in the bulletin regarding defenseless players, mainly receivers getting hit. They turned out to be perfectly legal from that aspect. The rules regarding that basically are, if a particular receiver that's defenseless, he's going up for a football or whatever, there's only limited contact that's allowed now on those, and that started at the beginning of the season. You can, number one, you can play the ball and there can be contact and you've got nothing, all right? You can come in and try to break up a pass with open hands. That's fine. Or if you're in the act of tackling, let's say a receiver, if he's got the ball and he's still airborne, of tackling, what they're trying to do is take out the brutal shoulder hits or the helmet hits or things of that nature on folks that really are focused on the football.
I think in college and in pros they have an emphasis on there can't be contact to the head or shoulders
area. And
that's
the same thing in high school as well, but this also leads to the fact if you have a receiver that's maybe gone up for a pass and he gets hit, just doubled over with the shoulder, and there's no intent to play the football, that's going to be a foul.
Okay.
They're trying to take some of that brutal hits out of the game a little bit. Now, if the same player comes in defensively and uses his open hands to try to break it up, perfectly fine, because the hands and the hands out kind of lessens the blow a little bit. Not much, but a little bit.
What's interesting is you and I have been doing this now for 4 years, and I think we've been able to see on the clips the evolution of that, where we see players using less, taking their hands off,
getting their head out of the game, and trying to remove some of the hits that are really hard. I mean, they're good hard hits in high school football. There's no doubt about it. But for the game to continue, the rules makers are doing what they can to try to make it a little less injury prone and brutal, so to speak.
Gotcha. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we've got 12 clips from the Riders' victory Friday night against Elida. We'll be back right after this.
You're watching Rules of the Game with Mark Cisco, brought to you by these fine sponsors.
Grand Lake Roofing, Fowler's TV, Family Audiology Associates, American Legion Post 323, Varsity Lanes, Outdoors Equipment Rental, Spring Street Storage, Mr. Bank, Plus One Professionals, Albert Sporting Goods.
You were renovating St. Mary's Foundry, Larry Shop Auto Sales, Tap House at the Square, TSC, Cody Plumbing and Heating, Roots Pub, Dr. Mike Company, Guaneri's Pizzeria, EFW Post 9289, and Miller Funeral Home.
Welcome back to Rules of the Game with Mark Cisco. Mark, let's jump right into the clips.
All right, let's go.
This first one was early in the game. Elida threw a pass over the middle, and no PI was called on St. Mary's. I just wanted to look at it maybe again. There's a little bit of contact there in Poland.
A little bit of contact. It kind of looks like both players the ball's thrown a little bit low, and the receiver has to kind of go down and get it. It looked kind of funky because the receiver is going with them, but we got separation. So unless there was a hand in there with an arm bar around the front that we can't see, and it doesn't look that way, the back judge has a really good look at it, and he ruled no pass interference, which I thought was a good call.
Yeah. So good no call there. This next play was the 2-point conversion, the unintentional 2-point conversion.
Yes, bad snap and all, right?
Yeah, so bad snap, rolled it back. We see the holder, quarterback roll out to the right, and then throw across his body
and that all looks
a great
wonderful,
catch.
Except the snapper may have gotten himself, and it's tough to see on this clip, downfield more than 2 yards. There's what's known as the expanded neutral zone in high school, where the linemen have a couple yards from where the ball is snapped to block, linemen and things of that nature, and not go beyond that when a pass is thrown downfield, basically across the line of scrimmage. So
the short snapper's starting quarterback, Cody Wallace, 13.
And he finds his way downfield. Now we see at the end of the clip that he is standing in the end zone, but the restriction for being downfield only happens until the ball is released. And at that point, everybody can go. So the officials have to know when the ball was released, where the player was when the ball was released. That clip, I saw a clip off of Rider Nation Station that has a big wide view, and it appeared to me that Cody was definitely standing in the end zone before the ball was released. So that would have been a foul for ineligible downfield. Now, the officials catch it, may not have caught it, and obviously they didn't catch it there. But, the officials that are standing underneath the goalpost, the umpire and the back judge, their responsibility is to make sure and look at that interior line and look at numbers and see who might find their way downfield. The rest of the officials are looking at the outside people, the kicker, the holder, the wings, and will basically make note of who they are. So in case we get a number that's wrong where they're not supposed to be, then we could have a flag. So
maybe it should have been caught. Maybe.
In my opinion, it should have been caught. Yes, which would have made the Riders would have had another chance to snap it. It would have been a 5-yard penalty, and they probably would have tried to kick it again.
Might have helped that he's wearing a 13, so they weren't able to. He didn't look like a lineman in there.
That's part of the deal too, but because he was in a lineman position, then he makes him ineligible.
Should have been caught.
Yeah.
This next play was early in the game, of an excellent defensive play from St. Mary's. Elida receiver goes way up to get this catch. St. Mary's defender hits him, and then Elida receiver comes down 2 feet, catches it a foot past the first down, and then lands there. Should he have gotten forward progress?
He should have gotten forward progress right there at the 50-yard line, because contact was made there, and he was basically carried backwards. All right, there's the defender and the receiver never separate. If he would have been pushed backwards, we'd have had progress where he basically touched down. But because he was gathered in and caught up there, the receiver, boom, the defender's got him right here. That forward progress should have been at the 50-yard line.
So the possession is from when the possession occurs of the catch?
In that situation, yes.
Okay.
So possession normally doesn't happen until, number one, you have possession or your hands on the football and you come to the ground. But in a forward progress situation where we got the defender wrapping up, progress was stopped at the 50, and then he was driven down. The catch was completed, but progress was stopped at the 50. And
so if he
unless he was juggling there, that's that's another thing. If the receiver is juggling and the official is standing right there, but quite honestly, the official is really, everything blows up when you're that close. So if he's juggling, then no, we got nothing from forward progress.
But if he secures that catch in the air past the first down, he gets that progress.
So it would have been incumbent on the other wing guy to come in and show forward progress, but neither one of them did that. And fortunately for St. Mary's, they marked it short, and away we go.
Yeah. Fortunately, it worked out nice, and it became a nice defensive play there because it pushed a fourth down play on them, and they ended up punting, I believe. This next play was a this was a pass from Elida, and I thought it really could have been pass interference on the offense or the defense. It was kind of a 50-50 ball there.
It was a 50-50 ball.
But nothing was called.
Nothing was called. You got two kids that are going or playing the football, and there's going to be some contact. And I don't think that we have one going into the other intentionally or even not intentionally. They were just going up from the football, and there was contact. It was good, no call.
I thought that was a good example of showing like a 50-50 ball where they're both going for the ball at the same time.
Perfect textbook, no call right there, and we got nothing. Yep.
It's always interesting to see those type of plays too, because both sides want something called sometimes.
But it's clear that there wasn't anything on that play.
Early in the game, and just a false start from St. Mary's. See a man in motion and just a little bit of a lean there.
And that's tough because you got a 1st and 10, and now you're going to start 1st and 15. And in some offenses, 1st and 15 is like well, you might as well hand it over now, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's tough to get out of. Yep, a little flinch like that, and yep, you got to call it.
Fortunately, St. Mary's' rushing game was on all night, so they were able to make up for that penalty. This next play was kind of baffling to me in the press box talking with Joe. This was a face mask, and you can see clear as day at the end of this play, the Elida defender is pulling him by both sides of the face mask. But they only called it a 5-yarder.
Yeah, I guess they thought that, okay, he's got his hands on the mask, and probably the fingers in there, but is he really pulling? He's got it right there. He's got the mask. There's no doubt about it. The momentum from the other tacklers are kind of pushing it back, so it's like, okay, the head really didn't get twisted, pulled. Yes, he went down with it, but the momentum was going that way anyway, probably why the 5-yard was called, not a 15.
Gotcha.
I don't disagree with it.
Okay.
That point. Yeah.
This next play, you wanted to discuss a little bit. So this was a kick out of bounds.
Kick out of bounds by Elida.
So there's a penalty. St. Mary's gets to take the ball at the 35-yard line.
At that point, yeah, the ball's out of bounds past the 35. It goes out of bounds. Not a problem there. Normally a lot of coaches will say, all right, let's bring it back to the 35.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
they could have them re-kick it after a 5-yard penalty or take it where it went out of bounds.
So you wanted to talk about where you place the ball.
Well, earlier in the game, St. Mary's kicked off. I believe it was St. Mary's. And they kicked it out of bounds. I think they were trying to pooch it down a little bit, and it went out of bounds. And the officials brought it in to the middle of the field. That's incorrect. When the ball's kicked out of bounds on the sidelines, then it has to come to the nearest hash. There's no choices. There's no coach and say, hey, we put it in the middle of the field like there would be on a touchback. Mm-hmm. So they didn't do that correctly. So when Elida kicked off there, they did bring it to the proper.
Yeah.
So because I'd said something to them at halftime.
Okay.
And they're like, oh yeah, we messed that up.
Okay.
And they fixed it. So they had a brain seizure or whatever you want to call it, and didn't do it right on the first one, but they corrected it on the second.
Well, it's good that they have somebody watching out for them to make sure that they get it right.
I just happened to be there, and I don't like things like that to go uncorrected.
Yeah. One more question about that. A fair catch, is that wherever the fair catch is caught, either outside the hash or inside the hash, does it go to that?
Well, that's a good question. With a fair catch, you can actually, the receiving team, they make a good clean, no fouls, no nothing. They can put the ball anywhere between the hashes.
That's what I was wondering. Okay.
Anywhere between the hashes, whether it be right in the middle, on the goalpost, on the hash, somewhere in between, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Now, you want to go one step further?
Sure.
The one step further is when you have a fair catch, depending on where you are in the field, you can say to the defense, all right, you guys back up 10 yards, we're going to free kick it, which means we can put it on a tee, or we can drop kick it from where we designate the spot to be, and if we kick it through the uprights, we've got a field goal.
And
doesn't happen very often.
That has to be from where you fair catch it?
Basically, if you catch it outside the hash, and let's say you're on the kicking team's 20-yard line, for whatever reason, short punt or whatever, fair catch it, and you say, all right, I go put it in the middle of the field, and now we want to free kick it. The defense has to go back 10 yards, and you can put it on the tee or have it held or drop kick it, which you never see anymore.
No. From
that spot, and if it goes through the uprights, you got a field goal.
And that's you said you've seen that one time, right?
I've seen it twice.
Twice?
I've seen it one time in the state finals.
Marion Local?
I don't remember who it
was.
Okay.
And
I've seen it another time actually as a referee on a game. So in 40 years, I've seen it twice.
Yeah.
It's happened more than that, but I've actually been a part of one of them. And talk about confusing to the defense. They're like, what do you mean? Yeah, coach, you got to get your guys back. And it's in the rules. College, you can't do it. And I would think in high school, somewhere down the road, they'll take it out of the books, but it's possible.
It's still there.
Yep.
This next play was a fumble from St. Mary's, and we had a big guy touchdown up front. I know you and I appreciate that.
I do appreciate that.
I thought it was a good opportunity, one, to show this play again because I love seeing the big guys rumble, stumble, and get their touchdown. But two, talk about which in high school, which cases is the offense not able to
in high school,
advance?
It's free game.
Okay.
It's really free game.
So it doesn't matter if it's fourth down.
Nope.
Doesn't matter if it's 2 minutes.
Nope. Doesn't matter. Either side could pick up the ball and go with it wherever the ball was on either side of the line of scrimmage. College is a little bit different. Fourth down, there are some restrictions that happen. And if the ball is picked up beyond the line of scrimmage, there's some restrictions that happen in college, but not here. So
if you're at the end of the game as a running back and it's fourth down, there's no reason why you shouldn't fumble it forward if you're not getting the first down.
Correct. You run the risk of having it called an illegal forward pass, if you will.
True.
So I guess if you're smart enough to think about that, you got to make it look good.
Okay.
But yes, it is possible.
Because that's why there's a restriction in college and
absolutely. And
NFL and pros,
absolutely.
right?
Yep.
Interesting. I was wondering about that. So this next play was a catch later in the game by Elida, and right on the edge of the sidelines there.
Yeah, I was tough. We were sitting this too far away to see for sure. I mean, the official's looking right there. He's looking, and he did a good job staying home. And boom, all right, there we go. Is he in? Is he out? It's tough to see. Does he have control? What the official is looking at there, the wing official on the sidelines looking at the feet, and then he'll look at the ball. The back judge down here is looking for control, and neither one of them saw anything that would take him off of it. So should be stopped. We can't see the official, and it's tough.
Yeah, it's really hard to see whether whether his right foot was down inbounds, but
Correct.
before he put his left foot down out of bounds.
Yeah, and they only need one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no 2 feet rule
Right.
in high school, so you have to go with it. So yeah, I'm guessing it was a good call.
Well, we saw the 5-yard face mask earlier. This one was about the most obvious 15-yarder I've ever seen. You can see the nose tackle completely turn around the guy.
Yeah, you've got plenty of flags on that one. It should come away with a 15-yarder. The umpire's got it. That looks like the back judge has it as well, and the referee is got it.
I'm just thankful that Caleb Schmidt got up walking after that, because that could have been real dangerous the way it was.
And of course, at that point,
twisted around.
They're going to go half the distance to the goal because we're inside the 15-yard.
Yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't that big of a penalty because they're
Correct.
so close to the goal line. So this was a play late in the game. We see the St. Mary's defender put his helmet on the ball, pop it up backwards, and then we saw some flags come out for holding on Elida. So a lot of different things going on there.
Right, and if I remember right, St. Mary's retained the football, did they not?
They did, and that was the other question. So the holding penalty had to be declined, right?
Correct.
Because you want the result of the play, which was the change.
Exactly, and I thought they took a little time discussing what they had and what they should do. Well, in my humble opinion, that would have been an easy call. It's like, okay, we're going to decline the penalty, where if Rough Riders are going the other way, there would be no discussion whatsoever about it. And I think they looked at Coach Fry, and he's like, well, yeah, we want the football.
Yeah.
Sure. So, but that's just me with a lot of years going, that was easy. Of course, I'm sitting 40 yards away in the stands, so everything's easy for me to set, right?
And there's no leading with the helmet there and hitting the ball with the helmet. That's no problem because
that's not a problem.
He's not targeting the person or the player.
Yeah, I mean the ball was hit, so we're fine with that, right?
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
all good.
Yeah, looked like a good clean hit there, and that's sometimes what happens when you have good hits down
the ball pops free. Yep.
And then hate to end on a bad note, but we just had a holding call against St. Mary's here at the end. I think it's right there in the middle. I think it's 62. He sort of just kind of tackles his guy in the middle of the field, right around the 27, 28-yard line here.
Who makes the tackle on that play? Well, let's see. It doesn't really much matter.
So it's right over there.
Right in there.
Yep.
That's it there. Yeah, it looks like it. That's
looks like that's where they
right
called
at the point of attack. He just got caught up in it and in the wrong place at the wrong time, so to speak.
Yeah, kind of twisted his guy around and then pulled him down.
That's a dead ringer there. Yep.
No, I guess the only wrinkle to this was at the very end of the game, and so they never stopped the clock during this penalty.
Well, we had a running clock situation,
right?
Correct?
And that's the correct way to do it, right?
That is the correct way to do it. Yep.
Now, Elida actually declined that penalty. If they would have accepted it, since it was on the offense, for some reason would the running clock have stopped?
No.
Okay.
No. The only thing when you get a running clock is basically if we have an extended delay for some odd reason, okay? If one of the teams calls timeout, or we have a change of possession to get a new ball in and out, something along those lines. Otherwise, penalty enforcements that are reasonable like that, the clock's going to run.
Extended delay could be like an injury or
could be, or the officials are trying to figure out what went on there. I mean, if it's going to take a little while to try to figure it out, you want to stop the clock. At that point in the game, it's the end of the game. Probably there was nothing they wanted to do unless just get the game over.
Get it over with.
Both teams just wanted it over, and so did the officials at that point.
Well, Mark, thank you again for a very informative week.
It's always a pleasure, Zach. Yeah.
Hopefully we have another good one coming this week with Bath clips, and we'll be back next week with rules of the game. So hope everybody joins us then. See you later, everyone.
Thank you for watching Rules of the Game with Mark Cisco, brought to you by all of these fine sponsors.
Grand Lake Roofing, Fowler's TV, Family Audiology Associates, American Legion Post 323, Varsity Lanes, Ugly's Equipment Rental, Spring Street Storage, Mr. Bank, Plus One Professionals, Auburn Sports.
We were renovating St. Mary's Foundry, Larry Shop Auto Sales, Tap House at the Square, TSC, Cody Plumbing and Heating, Roots Pub, Dr. Mike Compton, Guaneri's Pizzeria, EFW Post 9289, and Miller Funeral Home.